Should you think about insurance for your small business if you're self-employed or you've got a little company? I'm going to cover that today because there's a few things while I went through my journey that I thought, do I need this? Do I need that? I wasn't sure. I had to get a lot of research online. And now that I've got my first year of having my company, I'm basically going back and making videos to help myself. So if I had seen these videos, it would have been really ideal because every step of the journey I had to do a lot of research and find things. I was a small small business, and then self-employed. I registered being self-employed. I created a limited company. So it's my first year of being a limited company now. During that, there's a lot of things like bank accounts, insurances, accountants, looking at what you need to have in place. All this is a bit of a journey. So I made a full playlist with all of this information. So it kind of helps you if you're on this journey. Let me know if it helps you and what part of your journey you're on in your comments below. Today we're covering insurance. This is a tricky one. Can you simply go and just get insurance? It depends now. If you're a self-employed person and you're doing a lot of interactions with people, you definitely need some type of public liability insurance. So again, this is all from my point of view, what I ended up taking. So it's not really advice, it's just giving you the information about my journey. So we set up public liability insurance. We had employers liability insurance and product liability insurance, as well as influencer insurance. So if I say something to you, I have to be covered, because I can't just say something like, for example, oh, this pen is rubbish. You can't say that. Well, I use this pen and I found that using it for X amount of days, it ran out of ink, and other pen that I used here ran 20 days. This one ran 5 days, so I didn't really like it. That's kind of okay, but saying out full out like somebody's brand name and annihilating it online is not a good idea. So you have to be constructive about what you say, why you say it, and then have enough. Well, there's loads of little caveats and things in the insurance policy, so you need to be kind of aware of what you're saying and people trying to sue you. So then that just goes down the insurance route. That's who covers that, and they look after that for you. Make sure you've got the relevant cover for the amount of people you've got, the amount of income you're getting. So your insurance would be based on your X turnover a year. You're insured for that amount. You're insured for £1 million or 2 million or whatever the amount can be. So there's different types of insurance out there, different credit risk profiles, but that's getting a bit detailed. We don't need all of that. Let's look at the basics. If you're selling baking cakes and stuff, you need to have some type of public liability insurance. Can you simply go online and do a search for that? Yes, you can. But what's a better way of doing it? I found, because insurance is a spotty area, because you could insure for product liability, but then down the line someone might say, oh, I fell over and you were there and your product was there and I tripped over, and public liability would cover that to an extent. But then if they're walking past your property and they fall or something happens, and then you've got an office and something falls off the roof, and then it's like, does that cover, does that not cover? There's loads of little grey areas on this. So what I ended up doing was looking at a broker. So I explained to the broker, this is what I do, what are the possible things that I need to insure for? And they said to me, well, actually you need da-da-da-da-da-da. And out of those 12 things that they told me to insure for, I probably only thought about 3, like contents, public liability and product. But they had a whole host of other things that I needed to think about. And the good thing there was, because they're a broker, they knew where to go. They got me a price, and then I pay them a monthly amount, and that covers me for all eventualities relating to my conduct online and through the business. So in some cases it's a good idea to be on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, it's a great place to pick up contacts. And because I've worked in the financial sector before, I found a couple of good people that I've worked with, and so like business related activity, like for example, they worked for X client, they worked for X business, and I've done some work with them via like a third party or something, or we've done different things. So it's just making up contacts. I think it's just using the different related business areas that you've worked with, using those contacts and then using them and finding out what's the best way to do something, and then following the rules and regulations, because there's a lot of rules and regulations that you need to comply by. If you're employing staff, you need to definitely have employers liability insurance. If you got a company premises, having the right fire safety and all this kind of, there's a whole host of stuff you need to think about. So it's worth basically looking at a broker and finding someone who relates to your activity, and then asking them what needs to be set up, what you should do. You can get things like direct line business insurance. There's all sorts of things out there, but I can't really give you an idea of that, because you might be doing just products, you might be making things, you might be sending things out, you might not just be online sales, you might be doing in-person sales. I do a lot of mine online and Zoom and like consultations and all these types of things which are recorded, and then I've got insurance to cover me for all those eventualities, which is why I went down this route. But it's always being worth making sure that you've got someone who knows the arena, because a broker will have claims in the past that they've dealt with, and they'll understand that, wait a minute, this has happened in the past, you should look at this and maybe get this cover in place. And it's probably like £20-30 extra than you would have paid anyway, for those extra little covers that you might not have thought about. So it's worth having that cover in place and looking at that. So do you need insurance? You definitely need some type of insurance to cover you, because there is a claims culture at the moment, so it's best to have the cover in place. So have a look at that, think about that. This is me basically just giving you off the top of my head information based on my journey. So I've done a whole playlist here with accountants, looking at small businesses, should be self-employed, should be a limited company, should you have an accountant, should you have a business account, and now we're adding this to the pot, should you have insurance. I'll see you on that next video. Take care.